Hey guys, Chad with Hookup Baits here. So we're getting a lot of questions on the color of the new squid bait that we just came out with. So JoJo's here running the camera. She's going to ask me the questions that are coming in on our website, and I'm going to have some answers for you. Okay, so let's go.
Hello everyone, this is JoJo, and these are questions that I'm receiving on the website or calls here in the shop. So the first question is, why did you come up, Chad, with the design of the squid bait?
Well, this is a trick that me and my tournament partner Al has been using for years on squid beds. Is using a big brown bait to match squid during the daytime. And then I tested it up in Ventura last year on yellowtail and sea bass that were on squid beds, and it worked very well. So that's what came out. That's where I came out with the big brown bait for squid bed fishing.
And what sizes does it come in?
Well, let's see, this is where it gets a little different. So it comes in a 5/8 and a 1.5, but it's not our typical 5/8 and 1.5. For example, and this is also going to go for our pearl white sea bass specials, and then the squids both come in this type of size. So it's kind of like our new slow glide series. Okay, now that we have 4 baits in it. Okay, so this is the squid 5/8. This is our typical chub 5/8. See the size difference? Okay, so the squid 5/8 and the pearl white 5/8 is going to be more plastic, less lead, but a bigger hook to fit the bigger body. So this is going to have a lot more glide than our typical baits, right? So when when you're on squid grounds, squid are from top to bottom. They go throughout the whole water column. So typically the sea bass and yellowtail could be top to bottom. So the more slowly you work that whole water column, the more bites you're going to get. So that's what these baits are designed to do. Glide slower so you can fish shallower water with a bigger bait and fish the whole water column. Okay, so 5/8, typical 5/8 still glides a lot. White sea bass and squid 5/8 glides even more. Okay, and you can work it slower. It's better to work slower because it glides slower, it's not going to come through the water as straight. So if you're doing a fast retrieve with it, it's going to want to roll over and stuff because it's less weight. So it's made to sink slow and retrieve slow, so you can work it through the water column very slowly. All right.
What water depth can I use the squid bait?
Well, that's again 5/8. You're going to be, if the sea bass or yellowtail right up on top, you're fishing this one, so it makes it easy so you can stay in the top 20 feet of water. Or if you're fishing up against islands where they did a lot, last year this 5/8 pearl was our highest seller. Well, that's where they're fishing halibut, sea bass up in the kelp, up against the island in 50 feet or less of water. That's where this does well. Well, then we have the 1.5, which is typical squid grounds are in 70 to 100 feet of water. That's where that 1.5 fishes that type of typical squid ground waters very well. The 1.5 squid and then the 1.5 pearl. So 2 sizes in the new baits.
And again, tell me what kind of fish eat squid.
Everything in the ocean eats squid. But your typical fish are going to be halibut, white sea bass, yellowtail, then also calico bass, sand bass are your typical fish that you're going to be catching on squid beds. The squid beds, like I said, usually do their thing in 100 feet or less of water. Those are the game fish that you typically find in 100 foot of water or less. So those are the ones on the squid beds eating squid.
Another question from our customers is, why did you come up with the design of the chub?
Well, the chub is, like I said, a lot of people have said, I have been told too, it's like, well, it's just like the chub. Well, you can see the color's quite a bit different. Okay, this is a milky pearly brown, which is, I took a picture of a daytime squid. I went through a lot of pictures of daytime squid, and then the one that looked the most natural to me, I matched it with the type of brown, the pearly brown, with the type of flakes in it that matched the flakes that you would find in like a squid, the kind of flashes a daytime squid would give off. Where the chub was made to match freshwater chub, and from Utah and the Sierras and anywhere where there's trout that eat chub and bass and everything else that eats chub. So that's what this is, with a pearl bottom and then a golden brown top. All right, so you see there is a difference. And then we have a brown and silver, which is also a different brown. So you see the 3 different shades of brown. There's the chub, brown silver, sardine, means squid. So there are 3 different shades of brown. Sometimes just a little bit of shades of brown makes a big difference, right? The brown silver is just a real natural brown. There's a lot of fish and things in the water that are that natural brown color. Lizard fish, little gobies, just a lot of things that color. So that's what the brown silver mimics.
Is it a certain type of day or night that you would fish these baits? Cloudy day, sunny day?
Well, basically how we have the new squid baits. We have the pearl white, which is very popular up there because the squid at nighttime turn really pale or white at night. That's why they're eating that white bait, the white flukes, the hookup baits, pearl white baits, right? Well, as soon as it gets daylight, the squid turn brown. And you'll see that if you pull up on a squid bed and you can see the squid in the water, they're brown. So you got to match the hatch. White first thing in the morning, because that's what they've been feeding on all night, the white squid. But as soon as it gets nice and bright outside, by usually 8 o'clock or so, all those squid have turned brown now. So you need to fish a brown. Okay? So matching the hatch is basically what it is. Low light, white, regular light. This one is going to be the ticket. And this one still does have white on it. You see the little white lateral line on there? That is actually to give it the white bottom. You see, the squid during the day, they'll have the brown on top, and they'll turn whitish on the bottom. But it's like a translucent white. So this having the clear body with the white underneath it, it gives it that same translucent white look. So it's not really for the white lateral line. It's for the white bottom. So if the fish looks at it from the bottom, it has that white translucent look to it. Plus a lot of flash, then brown on top. So mimics a squid really well. And then when squid are swimming through the water, they're not swimming with their tentacles out. They swim like this, in the exact shape of a hookup bait when they're swimming. So mimics a squid very, very well.
How big a fish can I catch on these size baits?
As big as fish that's in the squid grounds. Last year when I was testing it, I caught a 40-pound yellowtail and I caught a 35-pound white sea bass. And then I gave it to my buddy Edward, and he caught a 22-pound halibut that same week on the same bait. So it catches, in the squid grounds, it usually attracts some bigger fish. So, you can catch 60-pound white sea bass, you can catch 45-pound yellowtail, you can catch 50-pound halibut on it. So and they're all with big hooks and can handle any fish you're going to catch on the squid grounds, guaranteed.
Now we're heading into the summer season, and yellowtail is going to be showing up.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that these baits are great for yellowtail. Are you casting out for the yellowtail, or are you trolling? What are your suggestions for yellowtail with these baits?
Well, if you're fishing squid grounds or anywhere where the squid, or if you catch a bass and it spits out a squid, that happens a lot, or any sign of squid around, that's a good time to put these baits on, okay? And we've been using them just here locally without squid around, catching calicos and sand bass like crazy on them. It's just a good looking bait all around. But I would be casting, letting it glide, working that whole water column all the way to the bottom, slow retrieve it about halfway back, let it fall out again, then retrieve it all the way back to the boat. This is my typical technique with it.
Love it. Rockfish season has just opened up.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, these are great baits.
Yeah.
You're using the double rig. Customers often ask, again, what is the swivel of choice? And when you're doing the double rig, you've mentioned that you're using 2 different colors.
Mm-hmm.
Tell our customers a little bit more about that.
It's the tried and true. It's been around for years and years. The hookup baits double rig. The owner, number 2 swivel, does that the best. We always have it on hookupbaits.com. It's the easiest place to find them because they are hard to find in most tackle shops. But just double rigging this on a double rig. One thing is, like I said, both of these are 5/8. So now they're going to sink down together, right? You're not going to have one bait pulling the other bait down, but it's a way of you having 2 different profiles also now, and they're going to sink down at the same rate, right? So regular 5/8, the squid or pearl 5/8, but you can fish 2 different profiles and have the baits sink down together. So another advantage, and you can do the same thing with 1.5s. Do the 1.5s or the 1 ounce baits. So you can have 2 different profiles. The 1.5s this is a 5-inch body. Regular big games. The 1.5s is a 6-inch body. So matches the size of a squid very well also too. But I don't have any here with me right here now. But same difference. So the 5/8, like I said, is a 5-inch bait. The 1.5s is a 6-inch bait.
And that's in the squid bait.
In the squid and the pearl whites.
Okay. Now tell me, what sizes does the brown silver come in?
The brown silver comes in 132 to 1.5. Standard thing, same as the chub. But the chub actually comes into 6 ounce. So the chubs come 1.5 all the way to 6 ounce, the whole line, but in standard, not the slow glide.
We appreciate all the questions. Obviously, customers can contact us on the website, or they can call the shop. The website is the best because you and I sit down and go over all the questions, but we thought this would be helpful for the customers.
Yeah, but they're just single questions that we get. We'll answer them, but we're getting, what's the difference between brown, chub, and the new squid. So hope that explained it for you. So thanks, guys. Keep throwing the hookup baits and keep on slaying.